Hello everyone, it's time for the long-awaited Q&A video. Now, sorry this took a bit to get out. It was mostly just due to work and all that, just trying to find time. But with all that out of the way, I've decided I'm finally able to get the questions answered. So to start, now one quick little rule: I'm not going to answer questions that I already answered in the comment section. You know who you are. So, to start off with, let's do Cooper Slyking's questions. So, number one, favorite food. Now that one's a bit hard to say because I really love hamburgers and cheeseburgers, but, I've been recently getting kind of sick of them because, I work at a burger place, Wendy's, and, I eat them a lot. Though, I will still say I love fancy restaurant burgers, like when you get kind of like medium rare meat, kind of like a steak. And then, you have the sandwich and all that stuff to it. But, yeah, that's probably my favorite food, like a fancy burger, basically. But another good contender would probably be, fruit. I like most fruits, like apples, bananas, oranges, blueberries, I like a lot of fruit as well, and I like quite a few vegetables. Basically, I like kind of mixtures of things, and I also like soups. But yeah, that's kind of an interesting one. Like, my favorite foods are ones that are like mixtures of foods. I hope that answers the question. Do I play any instruments? Yes, I do. I play an alto saxophone, although I haven't really played that in a while, so, I need to start playing that again. Need to get back in the swing of that, but yeah, I do play a saxophone. And 3, do you dance if you want to? Do you leave your friends behind? I think that's a reference to something, but I don't know what it's referencing to, so I'm just going to answer this straight. Do I dance if I want to? Well, I don't want to dance. I don't even have time to dance. And no, even if I would want to, I probably wouldn't have time, because most time I'd be working, so sorry. Do you leave your friends behind? Well, CJ will probably say no, because I still talk to him, so no. But, please let me know what that was a reference to. Sorry. Now, let's do Scully343. Now, do I think that the gaming industry's predilection for the mobile market, since many Japan companies like Konami are switching focus with the idea of the game monetary transactions being a thing, that it will lead to gaming's downfall? I don't think that alone will lead to gaming's downfall. One thing I do like for, say, Sega, I think that can be a great way for, say, a company to get back on their feet. Like, doing small, easy to do things. But, like, a permanent thing could be potentially harmful. I can't really say, again, time will tell on this one as far as I'm concerned. It could just be like a temporary thing, to let certain companies kind of get back up on their feet and, get some money. But if it stays permanent, I do think that'll be a big contributor to a downfall, but I think there's a lot more to what can cause a gaming crash, and I should do a video about, well, I think I've talked about that too, but yeah, I might talk about that a little later. 2, if Super Mario Bros. Were to ever have a storyline akin to that of Sonic Adventure, what element would you expand upon, or what direction would you take, and why? That's a hard one. I'd probably go for, maybe, something of a Wizard of Oz-esque style, like kind of a bright, kind of a fantasy thing with some, a few more, kind of those unsettling dark bits, still there, not complete, kind of something akin to a Wizard of Oz style, I guess, or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. But, yeah, I think that just kind of would fit well for Mario, in terms of a story. I mean, yeah, I think one good thing with that is, if you were to have a story with Mario, I'm pretty sure you could, balance some good humor with, some pretty good epic storytelling. I wouldn't really want to go too far in one direction because, since Mario in general is so, is so broad, the Mario games are pretty much basic, gameplay and levels in their purest form, so you kind of have to I'd say you'd want to have. I'd say it'd be good to have at least multiple levels of what you can get out of it. Like, and I think a fairy tale kind of style would really work well. And yeah, there you go. Number 3, you mad, bro? If I was at work, I'd say yes, but I am off work, so no. And now let's go on to Sonic Meerkat. Number 1, what is your stance on the PC Master Race versus consoles? To be fair, as far as I'm concerned, it's pointless. One of the biggest problems, like, I really don't like, people who complain about things like the graphics and specs, because, like, one way or the other, they will become dated. And this is one thing I don't really like when people say, like, certain things haven't aged well. Like, obviously, they're gonna have their kind of bias to something, like Egraptor, who thinks, like, the SNES and NES stuff aged perfectly. Like, if you go and look at that now, it looks pretty crappy. And, it's fine, though. Like, it's a thing, it's expected. Many things age, and, time is pretty much the enemy of everything. Everything ages, and I do think a lot of the, like, SNES, plenty of NES, N64, etc. games, they still look good, but you can certainly see their age, and as far as I'm concerned, that's fine. So complaining about that's pointless. As for the whole PC in terms of a console, the problem is I don't really like PCs in general. I find them really unstable. Like, you have to put a lot of work into it, and and I was also talking to my stepdad about that, and he said, like, and I've seen him work with PCs, and I remembered him once telling me, like, they have, like, a bit of a weird stability issue, or at least the ones he works with, and, like, the only one I've seen that's really, really worth it is Alienware, and that is really expensive. Again, it kind of depends, like, and the whole big problem for me, like, when people, like, talk about the advantages of a PC is, like, you need to have, like, a very up-to-grade PC to really get things. Like, a lot of the popular stuff, like Minecraft and all that, I mean, it's pretty low graphically, so I don't know. For me, personally, I kind of prefer the stability of a console and all that. That, and I do like kind of a collector's value, but, again, I'm kind of an old man in that kind of way. Can't really say if one's better. In some ways, they outshine each other. I was actually having a conversation with someone. I do think gaming controllers work better than, say, a mouse and keyboard for most games. But, like, yeah, and then when I hear people say, like, well, you can plug in a mouse and keyboard, and as far as I'm concerned, that's like saying, like, the Atari 5200 controller is fine because you can just replace it with a third-party one. Like, if its original control method isn't really all that good, then yeah, I really won't like it. Again, that's more of a personal preference, and that's the whole thing with the whole debate, and I hate this about online debates, where it's like, we're trying to guess the right answer is just trying to guess, that person's right answer. Like, everyone has their own thoughts on something, and they all have their reasons for liking something and disliking, and sometimes those reasons are the exact same, and it just becomes a mess, basically, and it's something I prefer to not deal with. Because, like, you cannot rationalize with these. Generally, when you get into these arguments, you cannot really have a debate with these people. They are very firm and planted, and they seem to, like, they have this idea so far in their head that, like, they have the idea that they're right so drilled into their head that when they have a conversation, they can't see anything beyond, like, that person's, they can't really see beyond, that preference in the other person. And to be fair, it's not just PCs and consoles, it's just about anything. It's a convoluted mess, just like everything else on the internet. Well, that went on longer than I was hoping it would, but anyway. Number 2, other than Shadow the Hedgehog, what other games do you think get more hate than they deserve? One game I really think gets, I think this is a perfect example of, some guy bashed it sucks, is JonTron with Star Fox Adventures. As far as I'm concerned, Star Fox Adventures is a really, really good game. For me, it's my favorite Zelda-style game. And it does have some problems. It has really basic combat and the puzzles aren't too much, but I do like that whole laid-back thing to it. And, it's a very good game, but, I remember, most people, including JonTron, just kind of judge it, on just how much it's like the previous game that they liked, and it's kind of one of those things. And in JonTron's defense, I'm pretty sure he was playing a lot of it up for comedy. But again, it's kind of one of those, you get a big fan base, and then everyone treats your, opinion as if it's an undisputed fact. Or just, uses like, this guy thinks this, so this popular guy thinks this, so he must be right. That mess. But, yeah. Other games that do tend to get more hate, well, it really depends on where you go on the internet, but, one thing that I really can't stand is, old games that were popular, people just going, well, they are dated and all that, and again, it kind of goes back to that other thing, games naturally date, they naturally will age, and all that. Sometimes it's kind of a mess, though, but, yeah, for other games, that I think get more hate than they deserve. I think Star Fox's Adventures is a really good example of that. And whoa. Oh, never mind. Never mind. I was looking at something with the footage. Doing this unscripted. But number 3. How does it feel to be a small enough channel to actually read all the comments? It is quite good. I do like being able to, I like doing, discussions and all that. I like it when people can, discuss things and all that together, so, it's nice to really be involved in the conversation. Not really too much to say, but thanks for asking that, though, too. Now, Zane Henshaw. Favorite movie and why? And that's a really hard one, because there's a lot of really, really good movies. Movies that I really like, one that I can really think of is, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is one that I really love. Other ones I love Will Smith's Wild Wild West, even though that gets a lot of hate on the internet. I really like the Terminator movies. I like the first and second Mummy movies. I really, really love the first SpongeBob movie, and the second one's pretty good, too. I love a lot of the Kevin Smith movies as well. Those are really funny. Movies. I think out of the Kevin Smith movies, I'd say Dogma's probably my favorite, with the original Clerks coming at a close second. Other ones that I really love, I love Tremors, the Kevin Bacon movie, and again, despite a lot of how much hate this film gets on the internet, I actually really, really love Spider-Man 3. And question number 2. If you were stranded on an island and could only take 3 games with you, assuming you had a power source, what would you pick? That's a hard one. I'd probably take maybe... Oh man, that is a hard one since, I'm tempted... one that I would definitely take is Donkey Kong 64. My nostalgic stories kind of says why. And I'd really probably take Sonic Adventure 2 for the Dreamcast as well, but for that third one, that's where it could just go anywhere. Because, it might be, games that I think would be really good are Star Fox 64, Mario Kart 64, Super Mario 64 would be a really, really good one, Donkey Kong Country, that third game is the problem. That one I cannot answer. And number 3, what is the difference between Slayer? It is not Pearl Jam. And now, Natman106, what would you say that the gaming community, particularly the whole 1337 thing, has become more competitive and elitist? I would say that the gaming community has become something of it's very mixed. You get your big competitive elitist people, and then you get kind of your gamer zombies that just kind of go mindlessly buy stuff, and it's kind of a mixed thing. It really, I think it depends on where you go, what websites you go to. So yeah, that's kind of where I think. It really depends on where you go and who you focus on. Number 2, favorite type of sandwich. I do really like, I think if burgers count as a type of sandwich, I would go with that. But there's one sandwich I used to have a lot. It was like a piece of white bread with Miracle Whip and a few slices of cheddar cheese, which I remembered really liking that, so that counts. Number 3, why does everyone seem to be asking 3 questions? It just seems right. Now, Dan the Black Yoshi, do you think that Splatoon is going to save the Wii U? I have no idea, but I do hope that the Wii U does better. I think it deserves a lot better than what it's getting. I think the Wii U is a really good system that deserves a bit more praise than it gets. Nazgul Decapitation. What game franchises do you think are overrated, and what games do you feel are being ruined by lack of ideas by the game developers? For that one, I'm gonna probably go with the Mario being kind of held back by lack of ideas. Now, that's, I think, the best one I can go with. For overrated, I'll probably do another list on that or a video about it, so hang in there. And now, lastly, is it morally right to eat dolphins and penguins as an alternative to salmon and chicken? Well, as far as I'm concerned, there's only one alternative to salmon and... Well, as far as I'm concerned, salmon and chicken is the alternative to beef. Thanks for asking this. This was a fun video to do. Well, I'll see you next time.